The boy, driven by curiosity, suddenly came across a door on the street. He simply touched it, and before he knew it, he was summoned to another world. However, he wasn't summoned as a hero. Instead, he was summoned as a familiar. The girl's name is Louise. The new teacher asked her to demonstrate earth magic. When the classmates heard this, they advised against it, saying it was very dangerous. The tone of their words, full of contempt, made Louise determined to show them what she could do. The old man with white hair was the headmaster. He used a familiar to spy on the secretary. Just then, the academy exploded. It was all Louise's doing. She was the third daughter of a duke's family. Because she had no magical ability since childhood, her magic always caused explosions. To redeem herself, she decided to show off in the familiar summoning class the next day. Although she acted tough, she actually had no confidence at all. The familiars summoned by everyone else were very strange. The best one was a fire lizard. Now, Louise was the only one left who hadn't summoned her familiar. She was all talk but couldn't do anything else. To make herself appear confident, she recited a spell.
宇宙の果てのどこかにいる私のしもべよ。神聖で美しく、そして強力な使い魔よ。私は心より求め訴えるわ。我が導きに応えなさい。
As the spell ended, the familiar explosion occurred, but instead of a magical creature, a human appeared. The crowd was astonished, and Louise was embarrassed. The man looked like an ordinary civilian, and everyone else was from noble families. Louise felt humiliated. She asked the teacher to summon another familiar, but the summoning ritual was sacred. One could only summon a familiar once in their lifetime, and the rules couldn't be changed. Saito didn't understand what they were saying, but he knew they were mocking him. He decided to leave, but Louise grabbed him. There was still another part of the ritual, the binding contract. While receiving the girl's kiss seemed nice, Saito was confused when she kissed him and walked away. He shouted, but Louise didn't understand him at all. Then, Saito suddenly felt a strange heat and fainted. When he woke up, he found himself in Louise's dorm room. He kept wanting to go back, but Louise didn't understand him. She didn't treat him as a person but as a dog. She changed clothes in front of him and even asked him to do her laundry. Saito couldn't believe it. He told Louise not to bother him, but she found his complaints annoying. She recalled a silent magic spell she had learned before and cast it on him. And just like that, they could understand each other. Saito introduced himself and explained that he was a familiar. Looking at the mark on his hand, Saito refused to accept that he had been brought to another world. However, the text on his hand wasn't ordinary. The teacher found a reference in the library. It represented the left hand of God, capable of mastering any weapon. But they didn't yet understand Sato's abilities. Saito still thought they were either crazy or part of some cult, so he quietly tried to leave. That night, Saito finally found a chance to escape, believing he could get away. But the next second, he was floating in midair. When he saw two moons in the sky, he realized that he really had been transported to another world. Because his escape failed, a chain was placed around his neck. Louise told him to work properly and promised to feed him when the time came. So, Saito spent a cold night in a doghouse. The next day, when Louise woke up, she gave him clean clothes and even helped him carry them. Not only that, she insisted on helping him put on the clothes. For the sake of freedom and food, Saito had no choice but to comply.